Okay, well, hi, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the virtual Hyde Park Town Board meeting. It's Monday, May 18th, and I'd like to thank all my colleagues for joining me tonight and for the public who are viewing at home. So just to make note of the record, I have confirmed with the town's council that tonight's meeting has been convened in accordance with the governor's March 13th, 2020 executive order 202.1, which suspends certain provisions of the open meetings law to allow a municipal board to convene a meeting via video recording. In accordance with the executive order, the public has been provided with the ability to view tonight's work session meeting, and a transcript will be provided at a later date. I've done a roll call of the board members, and there is a quorum present for the meeting. I've also confirmed with the town clerk, Donna McGrogan, that this meeting has been duly noticed. We have fulfilled our legal requirements by posting notice on the town's bulletin boards, faxing to the library and news organizations, posting notice on the town's homepage of its website, and listing on the town's Facebook page. Hey, good evening again. Hi, Warren. It's Monday, May 18th, and please join me while we pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag
of the United States of America and to the
republic which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, may I have a motion to accept the minutes of the May 4th meeting?
I make a motion.
I second that.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, and oops, I'm sorry, Dave.
Opposed?
So any opposed? No, sorry. Thanks for the reminder, Dave. So no. Okay, and so we do have a workshop that I'd like to add to the agenda, and I'd like a motion to do so. We're very pleased to have Patty Moore, Director of the Hyde Park Food Pantry, joining us tonight. So
Make that motion.
okay.
I second that.
And all in favor? Okay, so again, welcome to you, Patty, and thanks for joining us at our town board meeting. And we're really, really pleased to be able to work with you. So could you tell us a little bit about our planned food drive, your planned food drive that will take place on June 6th?
I'd be happy to. Actually, I've never really done this. We've never had the need to do it. So, but in the last 8 weeks or so, things have changed quite a bit. A little background, we operate on Friday mornings for 2 hours. Up until about the middle of March, we were able to access Regina Cheli without issue. Of course, the food bank operates out of the rectory, which is the white building set back off of Harvey Street. And when we decided to start delivering curbside, we were encountering the situation where the clients were coming, they weren't masked. It was a little frightening. The numbers were on the increase, and we were able to manage with our inventory and provide to the clients. But in recent weeks, we've determined that there potentially could be an issue of not having enough food because of the fact that since the schools have closed down and the church is closed down, we're operating under very different circumstances. We are a member agency of the Regional Food Bank of Northeastern New York, which operates out of Latham. And for all the years that I've been involved, which has been about 3, we've never had any concern over ordering food from them. And that's the bulk of where we get our food. Although we are reliant on the community to provide their donations, both monetary and actually, food items, we received substantial funding from the Regional Food Bank in order to get food at a much reduced cost. And they've been inundated with requests. Their service has gone up at least 50% or not, if not more, and they're experiencing hardships, so that filters back down to us. And for example, for tomorrow's food pickup for the Regional Food Bank, they were unable to get rice, tuna, pasta, cereal, mac and cheese, instant potatoes, and a lot of canned goods, which is that's a lot of food out of what you would get in a monthly delivery. So we have the inventory presently to last maybe 2-3 weeks without issue. We have been discouraging, well, not necessarily discouraging, but not encouraging people to come by with drop-off donations, at least early on before the gates were locked, because of the fact the numbers of the coronavirus, cases were on the increase. We were very concerned not only for the clients that they might be exposed to each other, but also for the volunteer pool that we have, that we wouldn't be exposed as well. We have about 40 volunteers on our roster, and we've only been able to really use about 10 of us because of the requirement involved. We cannot allow the volunteers that are 70 and older into the building to volunteer, and many want to. So the reason I approached Neil with the idea of the food drive was so that we could, at least in the short term, stock our pantry, our inventory, so that we wouldn't have any issues moving forward into the summertime. I have been in touch with representatives of the Hyde Park Teachers Association and the Hyde Park Teachers Union regarding students, and they're very concerned that they want to make sure not only the students but their families have adequate food for the summer. So it's a first time. I did contact the food sourcing, food inventory coordinator at the Regional Food Bank to ask her recommendations on how to do a food drive. And basically what we've set up is what she recommended, is that we have a central place where people can bring their food in a relatively safe environment. I'm going to suggest in the PR that we put out that we ask people who are coming to put their food bags toward the back of their car or in the trunk. And as they drive by, volunteers will just take the bags out of the rear areas of the cars, the vehicles, and at a place you designate as where they're going to go, they go. And the Regional Food Bank recommends that they sit in isolation for 2 to 3 days, and that takes care of any issues regarding contamination. And we can then set up a system of getting the food, however much it is, which I have no idea, back to Regina Caeli. It would not be practical to do that's a very nice logo for the event there that you've put up on the screen. It would not be practical well, I don't even know that they would allow it, but it just would not be practical to have the food drive at Regina Caeli, at the rectory, just by virtue of the fact that everything is just so, it's too close. The building is close, the in and out of the driveway is close. If we were to take the food out immediately and bring it into the building, there would be just too much opportunity for contamination and exposure person to person. So this really seems to be a very viable, great way to do the food drive in my estimation. So
Great.
that's
That's
my take on it. So
that was wonderful information, and I just want to thank you for your leadership and for organizing this, and for Neil too. So it's June 6th, 10 to 1 at Town Hall, and that's why we thought Town Hall would be a great space, because it'll be easy for people to pull in, to drop their items off, have the volunteers bring them into the meeting room. And so I think that we're really going to be in good shape in that regard to make it very easy for people. So just one question is, what are the items that you would like to see most? Do you have any recommendations?
well, I sent Neil a description of it. I don't know that I have it right in my hands here. We accept non-perishable items, and the main concerns is that, oh, there we go, great, is that they are, to include canned vegetables and fruits, juice, cereal, rice, tuna, macaroni and cheese, pasta, instant potatoes, and all those items. The main concern is that the items should be currently dated and in the original packing. What happens is a lot of times people are they try to be helpful and they bring big commodities of items, but we are not at liberty to take individual packaging out of a bigger box, a bigger packaging box, and give it to the clients unless they have the expiration date or the best by date, and also the nutritional information. So if those items are not actually on the smaller packaging, we have to dispose of it. We can't get rid of it because people have to know if they have food allergies, what's in the food. And also we need to know too that the food is not extremely outdated. You know, and of course other items as are on the screen here are smaller packages of paper goods. If someone has them available to share, toilet paper, paper towels, soap, shampoo, all those kinds of things. We do accept donations of little hotel-size shampoos and conditioners and lotions and all that, and we package those up because there are no real expiration concerns about toiletries like there is food. We do not distribute pet food, so we would not encourage that. And as I mentioned, the items, I think in our communication to the town people that we should say the items should be bagged and boxed and placed in the back of their cars. So we really don't even need to talk to them. As you know, I suppose if you wanted to say hello, you could, but we're trying to avoid any potential for contamination or exposure. So,
Patty, if someone preferred to donate money, is there a way for them to do that?
we can accept donations. Yes, we are recently, last year we became incorporated. So our formal title is Hyde Park Food Pantry Incorporated. And a check could be made out to P.O. Box 171 in Hyde Park, 12538.
Can you repeat that P.O. box again?
Post Office Box 171.
And that's Hyde Park Food Pantry
Hyde Park Food Pantry Incorporated.
Incorporated.
I mean, it'll go in the bank the other way too, but I'm just trying to get that out because that's what we are.
Patty, can you also just tell us again when the food pantry actually operates?
The food pantry is open for clients on Friday mornings from 9:30 to 11:30. We also have on our Facebook page, we have a Facebook page and a website, and we can accept Venmo donations. I'm not particularly familiar with that concept. It's like PayPal. It's a different one. Venmo, I believe it's a vehicle through Facebook that allows for monetary donations.
Great.
Patty, I have a question.
Yes,
and
sir.
what if someone wants to volunteer there? Are you accepting volunteers?
Presently, I'll explain the situation. Given that recently we incorporated, we are working we had a lot of things to change from last year to this year under our nonprofits or under our 501c3 status, and we are always happy to accept extra help. But right now, we've cut back our volunteer staff presently because when we're in the building on Friday mornings, where we used to have 4 or 5 people in the building, we only now have 3. We have 1 person doing intake, and we have 2 people actually packaging the bags so that we can keep the social distancing intact. For the purpose of the event, we're going to look toward our current volunteers. We've also had offers from the Hyde Park Teachers Association and from the Hyde Park Teachers Union of potential volunteer assistance. The thing is right at the moment, it's difficult to be trying to do what we're doing and also interviewing new volunteers because we have to get references. We don't presently do any fingerprint background checks or anything like that, but it is a process where we want to be careful that the people we have are the right ones for the job. So I would not be actively recruiting new volunteers at the moment. However, as we move into the summer, as things lighten up and perhaps we get back to our normal routine, then yes, that might be a consideration.
Okay, thank you.
What are the hours for the food drive, did you say?
Neil's been cooperative in setting it up for 10 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Okay, I got it.
That falls within the time of the opening day of the farmer's market. So we're hoping
Great.
it'll be a nice sort of synergy there.
Great.
If there are, any expenses involved, if at some point you decide you might want to have, I don't know, a police officer directing traffic, we could help on that account. I mean, we're willing to do whatever needs to be done. That was my one concern, was just making sure the right people were doing the in and out from town hall through the parking lot. That's all. I don't really feel comfortable necessarily setting up my volunteers doing that unless that's a last option.
I'm hoping to set it up so that people just enter through the Route 9 entrance.
Yeah.
Okay.
They'll just pull up to, be basically in front of the town hall before right past the sidewalk. We'll pick everything up, and then they can leave either to the right or to the left,
Yeah.
which would make the most sense.
But do we have any volunteers lined up for June 6th? Do we need volunteers?
Neil and
our end?
Neil and I are working on that. I know my board wants to be there, and we're not all going to be there all at once because we don't need to have all of us there all at once. I'll make sure that at least one of us is there throughout the time. One of my executive committee, me or one of the other ladies. I have secured at least a couple of volunteers to help get the food out of the car. The cars. I know you have a ramp going up into the meeting hall and such. I have no idea what this is going to be like. I mean, it could be an overflow of food, which would be wonderful and maybe a little more difficult to handle. But then again, maybe it'll be a modest turnout. I just have no sense, but I have had many calls from people in the community wanting to come forth and volunteer. So now that we have this set, I'll be calling that nice long list of numbers that I have and telling them to come that Saturday morning and donate.
Great. Terrific.
Patty, Ken Schneider here. Is there anything in particular that young families, like children, are their favorite? And I just want to make sure that, if we go out and get donations, that we're soliciting the right things. Is there anything in particular that you run short on that families really enjoy having?
Since we will only be asking for non-perishable items, probably I think the thing that people look for is a variety of cereal.
Okay.
They like different kinds of cereal. I mean, certainly the adults and seniors like Raisin Bran and, the sort of basic food, the basic cereals, and children like other kinds.
I'm still a Cocoa Puff fan.
Right now,
Cheerios, oh,
I
God.
thought you were more of a Lucky Charms kind of
That too, just the marshmallows.
right,
the green ones.
right now, we're nearing the end of those wonderful options like Cocoa and Lucky Charms and such, and we're basically to corn flakes and
Okay,
toasty oats and Raisin Bran and such.
that's great to know. Perfect.
People could donate low sugar or gluten-free items should they wish. We do have a small component that does ask for those kinds of items.
Sure.
We do have a variety of things. We offer some cookies and different kinds of, cake mixes and such, but we really want to try to make sure that we cover the basics of
Sure.
the required food groups that we need to provide through our agreement with the Regional Food Bank, which includes, fruit,
Great.
grains,
Sure.
vegetables and such. We do not have a refrigerator, so we really cannot accept foods that need refrigeration. And I really don't have extra room for things to be frozen either. So that's why we're asking for non-perishables.
Okay.
But there's a lot of leeway there. I mean,
Yes, absolutely. Great.
Yeah,
That's great ideas.
and-
Thank you.
when we do have more to offer, we can offer up some of the options that we don't have right now. In normal times, the clients are invited into the building and they can actually almost look on the on the shelves and point and say, I want this kind and I want that and whatever, but we can't do that right now, not until some of the restrictions are lifted and we feel safe with the situation. So.
Great, thank you.
Sorry.
We've lost our supervisor. I think that's all that we have, right? All the questions that we have.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Patty.
Terrific.
So, Patty, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Patty.
My apologies.
Thank you very much.
Patty,
Neil,
thank you. Thank you so much for all you're doing. It'll be great to see you on the 6th.
thank you. And Neil has my email address. If anyone has any follow-up questions, don't hesitate to let me know.
Okay.
Great. Thank
And
you,
we'll
Patty.
be
Thanks for all
we'll
you
be
do.
putting it up on Facebook and the website and that type of
Right, and I will forward the certificate of insurance that you need as soon as I call them tomorrow. So thank you very much. We
Perfect.
appreciate
Have a
your.
good night.
Thank you.
Patty.
Have a good.
Service.
Bye-bye.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Okay, well, that's great work they're doing, and it's thanks, Neil, for organizing. It'll be a nice event. So just before we move on to the public comment on the resolutions only, just did want to give a little bit of an update regarding the state of affairs with the New York on pause and New York forward. So it was hoped that we would meet the metrics to qualify for the phase 1 opening, but we just did not do that. So there's still 2 out of the 7 items that we have not met. And that is number of deaths and I believe it's number of hospitalizations. But the county is working very hard to inform everyone, educate people that it's in the best interest, of course, to take the precautions necessary of wearing masks, washing hands, staying at home. And so, I mean, of course, that's twofold. We want to control the public health crisis, but it's also an incentive to get us to the point where we can reopen some of our businesses. So our county executive has been holding calls twice a week with the mayors and supervisors. And on today's call, he did provide some information that we're very close, working hard to qualify. We're thinking it may be the end of the week, but we're not sure. So as most people know, the phase 1 opening is for construction, manufacturing, and some curbside retail. But it seems to be very much a moving target. There's new information every day. So in today's call, though we have not yet met the phase 1 requirements, there is an updated list of permissible activities. So I'll just kind of run through those. And that's the first is socially distant religious services at drive-in movie theaters and in parking lots are allowed. And municipal libraries, including curbside and internet access, retail business delivery, parking lot car deliveries. Wait, I want to make sure I have this right, that these are not, hunting and fishing clubs are low risk recreation. Landscaping now includes gardening and horticulture. Acupuncture is allowed when prescribed by a medical professional. Pet grooming when essential to the health and well-being of the animal. Auto maintenance, no longer just repairs, and non-motorized boating use and rental, and golf courses and driving ranges. So all activities, of course, should follow proper social distancing, cleaning and sanitation, and face covering guidelines. So that's kind of the updated list. And also on the county level, they are doing a Memorial Day activity, which is a convoy of county, police, fire, and local municipality vehicles will traverse Dutchess County as part of this year's Memorial Day celebrations. The residents are asked to please not gather in large group settings, but to show support, residents are instead encouraged to hang American flags along the convoy route. For those families who live along the route, children are encouraged to paint and draw flags to be displayed in the windows. So we also will be having a Memorial Day remembrance. The American Legion will be placing the wreath at the War Memorial at Hyde Park Town Hall, as will I. But because many of the veterans are in the vulnerable category, it was decided that we wouldn't even hold a small ceremony. So, but it is nice and appropriate for people to stop by the War Memorial and just express their gratitude to those who lost their lives in war. So that is the situation right now. Again, we are still working towards the phase 1 opening, and as it was originally laid out, it was anticipated that communities would stay in a 2-week rollout of the additional phases, but today it was mentioned that depending on how the metrics are expressed, that we may be able to roll through them faster. So we'll kind of take that as it comes. Tennis courts are to be open, and so we will get ours open. We're just taking it as it comes. I don't know if any of you have any questions about the activities that we will be doing, but one of the requirements is that all businesses have plans, that they post those plans, and that they have laid out for their employees the ways that they can conduct business while still being protected. And so we've been working on a plan for the town hall, and at this point it's still essential employees conducting essential business that will be part of phase 1, and that really won't differ too much from what we've been currently doing. Donna has been here in town hall and answering calls and answering emails, as is our entire staff. But when construction opens up, there certainly will be a lot more activity. We've ordered 2 shields so that we can set up in the meeting room places for staff to meet with the public and that are protected and safe. So that's one of the things. We're also procuring a variety of sanitizers, adding some additional hours for our cleaning staff. Some of the materials have been hard to come by, but it seems like the supplies are increasing now. So we're working on a pretty detailed plan. And again, all the businesses that open are required to have plans. And part of what was discussed today and has been under discussion is the way to enable the public or residents, for people to obtain takeout food and eat it in the public parks while still maintaining social distancing. And there is some discussions on how we might open up parking lots or some of the public spaces once the restaurants are allowed to open, and that's phase 3. But at the current time, they are not allowed to people are not allowed to take food and eat it on the premises. If they want to go to a town park or a county park, municipal park, they're allowed to do that, but not at local restaurants as of yet. So I would say that's the update as far as New York Forward. And of course, there's tons of different information on the state website as well as the county website on the governor's orders and compliance with these different measures.
Great, thank you.
Okay. All right, so we do have a couple of public hearings that are on the agenda, but that is a little bit confusing because we did postpone them to June 22nd. So so I don't know, Warren, how should we handle that?
Just postpone the public hearings at this point to June 22nd. We have a resolution covering the town core.
Yes.
Which you'll pass tonight, and that will be subsumed. That will subsume the the two-family local law. So just adjourn those two to
To June
June
22nd.
22nd. Yeah.
Okay, so may I have a motion to adjourn the public hearings to June 22nd?
Make that motion.
No second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. All right, so I think we're ready to roll on the resolutions.
Resolution 518-1 of 2020. Resolution amending Resolution 16-52 of 2020, awarding bids for 2020 Town of Hyde Park highway materials.
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay. Resolution 518-2 of 2020. Resolution amending Resolution 16-39 of 2020, designating interim successors and emergency management coordinator for 2020 for the town of Hyde Park.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And any opposed?
Okay, Resolution 518-3 of 2020, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to approve the proposed road name for a private drive in the Town of Hyde Park.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Resolution 5-4 of 2020, resolution authorizing Donald Westermeyer, building inspector for the town of Hyde Park to carry over accrued vacation time.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Resolution 518-5 of 2020. Resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board to accept the proposal of Clark Patterson Lee for engineering and construction administration services for the Hyde Park Highway Salt Dome roof repair project, and also authorize the town supervisor to seek requests for proposals for the repairs of said project.
Second?
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Okay. Resolution 518-6 of 2020. Resolution accepting amended local law and town core design and development standards and continuing local law adoption process for local law C of the year 2020. Now entitled A Local Law to Enact Certain Amendments to Chapter 108 Zoning of the Code of the Town of Hyde Park to create a new zoning district entitled Town Core, and revising the zoning Chapter 108 to rename Town Center Historic District the Corridor Business Zoning District.
Second.
Okay, and all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed?
Okay, Resolution 518-7 of 2020, resolution authorizing the Town of Hyde Park Town Board approve the use of the Town of Hyde Park Town Hall for the Hyde Park Food Pantry's food drive on Saturday, June 6th, 2020.
Second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Okay. We have not really dug into the issue of holding summer camp. So I did just, want to mention that tonight before we adjourn so that you all have time to think about it. It's surprising, but the governor is going to allow summer camps to be held. But there's going to be, as there should be, a lot of limitations and requirements in order to do that. And so the thought has been amongst the mayors and supervisors, do we really have the ability to do that, to meet the social distancing, the sanitation, the requirements, to hold camp where we would have gatherings of young people who are attending camp, but also of having our camp counselors, our young people as well. They're typically in the 14 to 17 range. And so, I just wanted to kind of get that information out there to you all so that you can think about it. We've had a lot of back and forth on it. It's one of our top priorities on our calls is to really noodle through this, and the responsibility to our public, to our people, to our residents, to provide recreational opportunities, but yet only in a safe manner. So we have, at Warren's suggestion, reached out to our insurance carrier, and there are not any provisions that specifically preclude lawsuits if the town were to hold camp. And is that the right way to kind of describe it, Warren? Just there's probably the limits of liability would not be altered in the event of for a virus. So, I mean, that's one of our considerations too, in addition to, provide whether we can safely provide it, but there's also the liability issues. So I just wanted to get that out there to all of you because we need to make that decision soon. We've been talking a lot with our rec director and just kicking things around. And, my feeling at this time is that it will be very difficult for the town to provide an atmosphere that would be very safe for residents. So just wanted to alert everyone to that possibility. We should probably have made that decision prior to our June, I think it's June 6th is our next meeting. So I would expect that we would have that decision made by then.
June 8th, I think.
June 8th. Okay.
Yeah.
And Supervisor, I have a couple questions for you, if you don't mind. I was thinking about town court. I know that you're handling the town hall. I was wondering, how is the justice court going? And with town hall, I'm assuming we're going to have to really move the building and assessor's office upstairs at this point, especially for social distancing and things like that. So have we made contact, and what's going on over there? Do you know?
Good. Those are good questions, Ken. Thanks for bringing that up. So the court is under the control of the Office of Court Administration. So I have reached out to the judges on several occasions and their representative from the OCA. I believe the courts are due to resume at the end of May. Warren, do you happen to know that date when the courts are to resume?
No, I don't think there is
There's not a firm date at this point, but
not that I know of. No, you mean the justice courts? No.
Yeah. I thought it was the end of May, but by executive order. So maybe.
Well, that continues, but it could be extended. These orders
might extend,
so we don't have a firm date yet.
Yeah. But, they have been included in our outreach because we do need to prepare all the staff with PPE, and so we do need a figure on how many they'll need there. They'll also need to provide a sanitation plan. And, the big thing for Town Hall, even for phase 1, is we will be continuing to meet with the public only by appointment. And so in order to ensure that social distancing. So I would think the court would want to be thinking that through, because they have quite high attendance. And so my hope is that perhaps they'll add another court date, during the week to compensate for, to allow for a reduced number of people in the courtroom. But again, that's really under the purview of the justices. So I'm sure they'll keep me informed as they develop that plan, especially because we will need to order additional materials. Like I said, for Town Hall, we did order a couple of the plexiglass partitions so that people can remain in safe distance apart. So that's the answer to one part of your question. And then the second part regarding the move upstairs of the assessor and the building department. We talked about that last year. It seemed that there were some obstacles. Joe attended a meeting with the justices and the OCA, and they had some limitations that they felt necessary to inform us about. And so, I kind of put that on the back burner. But as you mentioned, Ken, with the COVID-19, we are we are eager to move ahead quickly.
Right.
So Pete Cetero had someone from his office. We had developed some prior plans. I decided to simplify those plans. Originally, we thought, well, it'd be great if we could consolidate the offices of planning and zoning and move everybody into the meeting room, and then the town board, planning board, and CPA would host their meetings at the police court facility, which is what we intend to do. That's where the meetings will be held. But
Great.
it got very complicated trying to integrate all those departments into one room. So right now the plan is to move the assessor and the building department into the meeting room, and then create a small office, like where we would have our copier and that type of thing. And so we would still have the one conference room, which we would, it would actually be a conference room instead of a room where the copier is running all the time. And then we would move most of the records upstairs. Some would remain. It would become kind of a record room downstairs. And then we'd probably have an alternate conference room down there for emergencies.
Great. And what are we thinking? August timeframe, possibly?
I have set that as a target, August 1st, but you know, we have to move quickly to get this plan together. You know, it will require us to probably store record. There's a lot of moving pieces there, but we're on it.
What phase is it where we convene together again?
Well, you know, I think a lot of that is really is provided for us to make those decisions. You know, like East Fishkill supervisor, he had talked last week that he was hoping to open town hall, you know, somewhere after Memorial Day. But I think that's kind of been delayed because we are not even yet at phase one. But I think, you know, part of it is dependent on how your town hall is laid out.
Right.
Comfort level, like I know, like the town of Red Hook, they didn't plan to open their town hall at all. And they're doing all their business by dropping records off in their exterior box and a variety of things. But I think that we've operated really very well during the last 2 months.
So would it be beneficial for us to continue doing these Zoom meetings, moving those apartments upstairs, and then when we resume, we'll just be at the police court facility?
I think that makes sense. Yeah, I think that's exactly right, Ken.
Yep, that's good.
Yeah, that's
Great.
exactly right. And you know that I've tried to understand that about the mass gatherings, right?
Right.
That's not really been included in any of this New York Forward, right?
Right.
That information is lacking. So I just think we will continue to host the Zoom meetings, and it does simplify it till we are able to.
Right. Okay. Perfect. Yeah, I was just wondering how that was working over there. So thank you for the information.
Yeah.
Is the definition of mass gathering still 30 people and more?
Well,
or?
You know, I don't know I really don't know what that is, because remember originally it wasn't it 20 originally?
Well, then it went down to 10, right?
Then it went down to
Yep,
10.
yep.
Then it was no gatherings whatsoever.
Right.
Right. And I'm kind of curious what will happen for Memorial Day, whether there may be some revisions on Friday. I don't know. But I know that people are anxious to see their families. And
I did see the Hyde Park Central School District will be doing a drive-through at the drive-in ceremony for the graduating
doing
class.
the graduation ceremony at
Great.
the drive-in, which is
That's
really
fantastic.
nice. I
Yeah.
mean, it's great for us that we have that resource.
Our community, absolutely.
Yeah. So we're really sad about the Memorial Day.
I am as well.
Yeah.
Something
Too
we
bad.
look forward to.
So fingers crossed for July 4th.
Fingers crossed for July 4th. We'll see. As I said, it's a pretty
It'll be tough.
rapidly developing, and it's all about the metrics. It's really,
Yep.
you know.
And I'll say with the July 4th is that because of the planning, Teresa would need to know by June 1st
June 1st is what Teresa said. Okay.
Yeah,
That's her kind of drop dead date of whether we're
Yeah.
doing the parade or not, because of all the planning that needs to be done with.
Sure. Yeah, and Joe, I know we talked on our last Zoom meeting with Teresa and Rob with Rob about the music in the parks, right?
Yeah, music in the parks, the June is canceled.
Yeah.
And we're, again, going to see what happens with July, what happens over the next few weeks.
And
But the bands are being contacted to say, are they still interested? You know, because they would be kind of on hold right now. And some have returned contracts, some have not. So Rob is looking into what bands we would have for July if we do go with, music in the park. So.
Okay.
yeah, Joe, did you have anything you wanted to add about the camp issue?
No, just that we're looking into what needs to be done, as a supervisor said, and also, if not, what a virtual camp would look like.
Mm-hmm.
So more to come on that. But right now, the restrictions and the responsibility of the people that would be working at the camp would be tremendous.
Yeah.
Talking with Rob and, is it even doable? We are talking about teenagers, that are lifeguards and such that would need to be handling those responsibilities. And so it's a lot to consider,
Okay. So again, I want to let everyone know that we're thinking of our veterans on Memorial Day and wishing everyone a very safe one. Teresa, the rec leader, is working on a virtual event, and we should be posting that on our Facebook page, which I'm sure will be very nice.
And right now she has Hyde Park Rocks going on.
Okay.
Yeah, where you can decorate rocks and drop them off at Hackett House, and they'll be put in the gardens.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And we do have a wonderful Boy Scout troop who is planting flowers at the War Memorial, probably in the next few days too.
Great.
Okay. Well, good to see everyone. Miss seeing
Supervisor, miss you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, it's good to see you all.
Stay
Okay.
well.
All right. Well, may
I make a motion to close.
Okay. And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Good night, everyone.
Night, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good weekend.
Take care.
Okay. Bye now.